Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Moina Bass Fishes. I am Jim Moina, Chief Meteorologist here at Moina Bass Fishes Operations. In this video, we are going to talk about this is the final recap, review of my performance here at the 2025 Bassmaster Open on Lake Norfork. So the big story of this tournament was we all fished day one, and days two and day three, which is right now, were canceled due to weather. So yesterday truly was a day of constant rain, constant thunder. We never had hail here. We never had a tornado warning, although last Sunday we had a tornado warning, first day of practice. On the off day we had a tornado warning here. So it's been quite the week of weather for sure. And yesterday they postponed it and hoping we could go today. And today they did it again, which, I'm okay with whatever they decide. That's, they're running it. I signed up. When I sign up for these tournaments, I'm signing up to go along with whatever the tournament director says as far as this kind of thing happens. And so that's just how it goes. And I'm okay with what he decides. The weather. We've had so much rain here. Yesterday, like I said, we did have about a 2 or 3 hour brief period where there wasn't too much rain, like from 9 till noon maybe, something like that. And in that time period, I made a mistake, and that was I I didn't use that time to put my camper on the truck, because my checkout time is right now. So yesterday I needed to, I was the day to put my camper on the truck, which takes about an hour, maybe 50 minutes. So I let that time period go by without doing that because I wasn't even thinking of it. I'm like, I'll just end up doing it later in the day. Well, the whole rest of the later of the day, it rained and thundered. I mean, as soon as it would break up a little bit, I would look at my radar. I'm like, oh, there's a little gap there. Then I'm like, well, I don't know. We'll give it another 5 minutes. And sure enough, I'd hear more thunder rolling and, rumbling in the distance. And then, of course, then another 10, 15 minutes, there'd be thunder all around me and rain, hard rain again. And literally the lightning was like, there were some lightning strikes. You've seen it before, I'm sure, where the flash and the sound are, simultaneous, which means the lightning is like right there, right where you're at. So, but yeah, so that went on all the way, and I kept watching, when could I get this? I did meet some people. I met Dennis and Joyce Fiedler at 1 o'clock. We had pizza. We talked about day one of the tournament, and of course other things. And then we went to this golf simulation place, where you hit a golf ball into a screen, and I don't know. It was so we went there. That was I laughed really hard a few times because I couldn't believe what the simulation was doing to me. It's like I'm a scratch golfer, and I'm not a scratch golfer. No, I was hitting the ball everywhere, just like I do in real life. Sometimes too hard, from one sand trap to the other sand trap. Although it took like 5 times to get out of that sand trap, but then when I finally did, it went over across the green and over into the other sand trap. I mean, if there was somebody who was going to hit in the lake, I was. And then it ended up in these rocks, and it took me like 5 strokes to get out of these rocks. It was just bouncing off trees, you name it. It was And that was just playing 4 holes. Because we signed up for an hour, and that hour went by so fast. It was amazing. But anyhow, so I even started talking about my strategy, which is what this video is mostly about. So I ended up with 9 pounds 11 ounces for the first day, which was good for 154th place out of 230. So another just bad showing. That's three in a row this year. Oh man, it's this to have 3 showings like this in a row is that's not normal. I mean, nobody's above it, but it's just way out of the norm for me. And so then of course you start wondering, you start second guessing everything you're doing. But I've been doing this a long time. I know what works for me, and I just got to remember that I do know what I'm doing for the most part. Not all the time, but for the most part. So what was my strategy? What did I want to do in practice? So with the water, first of all, it's an Ozark lake. I've never been to this lake, but it's just like all the other Ozarks lakes that I've been to. Especially Beaver Lake. I've been to Beaver Lake so many times with the FLW tour back in the days, and it's so much like this one. Although there's no standing cedar trees in this lake that I saw, anyways. They must have clear cut all that stuff out of here. Whereas Beaver Lake and Table Rock, they have all these standing timber that's all slowly rotting away and disappearing, but they still have enough of it. So anyways, so this time of year, I mean, you're looking at, are you looking at do you want to use forward facing sonar? That's always a possibility. Or do you want to fish the bank? Do you want to fish the channel swings? Do you want to fish the pea gravel? I mean, these are the things you want to be looking at. The big giant boulder shorelines, sometimes are good largemouth shorelines. So these are all the things I'm looking for, and fishing and experiencing catches in some places, other places not. But my bigger fish kept coming up being offshore. So in practice, and then I tried some murky water, and I didn't do very good in there, but I got a feeling that was a good place to be. I don't really know. I haven't talked to the winners. I haven't read what the winners did. My buddy Dennis, I know he caught his on chatterbait, and one other thing, but that worked well. I mean, he did okay. He finished 48th. So, but yeah, so it turned out that, so my strategy was, after practice, was I wanted to focus on the swim bait, using a swim bait with a forward-facing sonar offshore. That was what I was going to do, and that's what I did most of the time. So on day one of the tournament, the first place I went to, there was actually somebody there, and because I had boat 203, so that happens. But there's tons of fish in this lake. There's fish caught all over the place. So just, since somebody's there, well, I just got to catch them somewhere else. And that's what I did, but I didn't catch that many. I had 6 keepers for 9/11. The first place I went to, after going to the place that was occupied, I caught fish pretty quick, like within 5 minutes. And I was going, the shoreline was steep enough that I could keep the boat in about 20 and just point it out into 30 plus, and then point it to shore, my forward sonar. And I was just I wasn't seeing nothing. I was just bomb casting to the shoreline, and I caught one, a smallmouth, just under 2 pounds probably. And then probably about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes later, I caught a second one doing the same thing. And I saw a couple fish offshore, but not many in that area. So I kept just going down the shoreline a ways, and no more action. Then I pulled up, went to another place, started working down that shoreline, and all of a sudden I saw, every once in a while I'd see a fish offshore and throw out there and nothing would happen. They may not have even been bass. But then I finally got to a blip on the screen, threw at that one, and it ate it. It was another smallmouth, pounded in 3/4 maybe, something like that. And so I went like another 15 yards, 20 yards, turned the boat around and came back to where I caught that smallmouth because there was another one with it just to see what was there. And then I saw a couple more blips, threw out and caught like a 3-pound largemouth. So now I got 4 fish, and this is, by now it's probably, I don't know, 2 hours into the day. Maybe not even that much. But then I really struggled for the next several hours. And finally caught one on a what they call a hover rig. Caught one on that. I saw the blip offshore, and it was really a finessey fish too. I mean, he looked at it and studied it a long time, and he finally grabbed it. So I caught that one. So that was number 5. And the whole time, by the way, I was making these not the whole time, but a lot of the time I was making these bomb casts to shore, just like the way I caught the first 2, and I never had another bite doing that. Not another bite. So it kind of tells me that maybe that was just like a pattern for the first hour in the morning. And I've seen that before on these Ozark lakes, like on Beaver Lake for sure, where that first hour, especially with the smallmouths particularly, that first hour they'll be rather aggressive and come after things. And after that first hour or so, then they really kind of mellow out and are a little bit trickier to catch. So that was an absolute repeat from what I've seen on other Ozark lakes. But yeah, so I ended up catching a 6 keeper later in the day. That was on a shaky head finesse worm, and I didn't even. It was probably an ounce or two. It might have been an ounce or two bigger than my smallest one that I had in the live well, but I still had like an hour and a half to fish, and I'm like, I'm not gonna waste 5 minutes messing with this because I need like poundage, not ounces. So I just threw it back, and because it might have been an ounce smaller, might have been even, might have been an ounce bigger, 2 ounces. I don't know. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth giving up 5 minutes of fishing time to me. Then I caught a few other short ones the rest of the day, short fish under the minimum size of 13 inches, and that was my day. So in hindsight, what do I think happened? Well, first of all, I wasn't catching a million fish anyways. Oh, let me back up. I also revisited the spot where I wanted to start on, and there was nobody there. So, and there was fish there because they were breaking on bait on a rare occasion. It was probably like a 70-yard stretch of shoreline, and there was one section where the bait was, and they were breaking on that bait. But my golly, I threw so many different baits. I threw all kinds of different baits in there, and top water, the swim baits, the hover rigs, and I couldn't get it timed right or whatever. I couldn't get them to bite. And while I was there were 2 other boats that came running in, and you could tell I was right where they wanted to be. And then they start fishing there. Like the one came right as I was about ready to leave, so I fished a little more, and then I was done. I was like done with it. And then when I was leaving, I could see him just already scurrying over kind of towards where I was. And actually, what I meant by leaving is I moved beyond the 70-yard stretch because there was another little area up ahead where in practice I caught 2 fish. So once I got down the shoreline a ways, I saw him kind of moving into the area where I was. So it was a good spot. There was fish there, and I saw a lot of fish on my active target, which you did see a lot of those out here, a lot of fish out in this lake the whole time. A lot of them are white bass, stripers, some walleye. But in this particular area, I'm pretty sure that a lot of those were largemouth and spotted bass and smallmouth. And I don't know why they would not bite, especially the ones that would blow up on the bait every so often. That's prime. It's prime. And I actually saw the one because I actually got snagged in there with like a shaky head, and I'm like, I don't care if I spook these fish because I can't get them to bite anyway. So I go into trolling mode, and all of a sudden all the bait, my trolling motor and boat, like startle all the bait in there, and literally just like 15 feet out in front of the trolling motor, a 3-pounder jumps clear out of the water. It's a 3-pound largemouth, clear out of the water on this bait that's startled, and here I am stuck. It's like, man, I wish I would have had a rod to throw in there at that moment. So. But you can't. I already had one, and that was stuck on the bottom. And you can't just set that one down, and that's like using 2 rods at once. You can't do that. So anyhow, yeah, that's it. And then, well, I guess did I ever finish the story about the rain yesterday? Yeah. So, like I said, this is going back. The last thing I'm going to say in this video is I never got to put my camper on the truck until 10:30 last night in the dark, when the rain finally quit a little bit, and I looked at my radar and it was kind of in the clear for a little bit. I didn't know how long, and I got my camper on without much rain at all, maybe a sprinkler or 2 here and there. And as soon as I got done doing that, the rain started again, and it's been raining all night and all morning here so far. So, but I'm ready to hit the road now. I just got to hook the boat up to this truck with the camper on it, and heading to Minnesota. Lick my wounds. What a bad start to the year. My goals are. I got to reevaluate my goals for this year again, and just see what I want to be doing. I actually signed, right now my next tournament that I signed up for is the Minnetonka Classic on Lake Minnetonka on, it was May 31st, I believe. I haven't fished that tournament. I haven't fished any decent size, I haven't fished any money tournament other than a little get-together on that lake since 2010. And that used to be an absolute moneymaker for me out there, just fishing local tournaments and that. Well, then the FLW Tour win there, and the Don Shelby U.S. Invitational win there. Those were serious moneymakers. But yeah, so we're gonna fish that with Steve Sandberg will be my partner, my lifelong tournament partner. Joe Thrun wasn't so much interested to do it, but the last time Joe and I fished it was 2010. Like I said, my last money tournament there, and it was the one and only time we ever won the Minnetonka Classic. So it'll be fun to go back there and see if I can't rediscover some of the old magic out there. But it's a lot different lake now with zebra mussels, clear water, super clear water, a lot of places, and the milfoil is a lot different, and so it's quite a bit different lake. A lot more pressure, a lot more intelligent pressure by the fishermen out there. So it'll be a challenge for sure. 6 fish limit. Back then it was like 8. And I remember Joe and I in 2010 when we won. We had many top 5 finishes out there in that tournament, but we never could win until then. And it was so ironic to me because the year at 2010, the year we won, we had the lowest winning weight since like pre-milfoil out there, which would go back to like the 80s. So like the late 80s or so. And so I thought that was, because I remember coming in, we were like mid flight to come in, so half the people had to weigh after us, and we took the lead when we weighed, and I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. And but I was expecting like a fifth place finish out of it, and lo and behold, we won the dang thing. It's like Minnetonka Hammer after Minnetonka Hammer kept weighing in with less weight, and I was like, wow. And then we won. So that was uh, dang, that was a great memory, really. But it's just I've never had a chance to get back into that tournament. The way schedules work out. There was a couple years ago I was like, hey, maybe I'll get in it, and the tournament was full already. So, but we're coming back to that one, so that'll be fun. All right, hey, I'm really kind of getting way off topic here, but thanks for watching, and I will be going back to Minnesota where there's a lot of open water now. The ice is gone, so we're gonna be trying to do a lot more in boat type videos, stuff like that. So anyways, thanks a ton for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe you learned something or two. If not, that's that's the way it goes. Over and out.